Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to the Vermont Economy Talks Summer Series, brought to you by the Vermont Futures Project and UVM Center for Research on Vermont. The Vermont Economy Talks is an economic knowledge campaign created by the Vermont Futures Project to engage and inspire conversations about Vermont's economy. Today, I'm joined by Mike and Liza Casella of Casella Waste Systems, and we'll be chatting about the growth and evolution of the waste management industry.
When you think about a waste business, you really don't think about the engineering and the science and a lot of the other components that we touch. We touch almost every customer. So I think one of the neat parts about our business is you're in food manufacturing, you're in restaurants, you're in all types of other manufacturing, you're in airports, you're in hospitals, you're in colleges and universities. So you really get a broad spectrum of different industries, which is a lot of fun.
There is so much more to this business than anyone ever will know. And even as you know, kids that grew up in the business, so to speak, I had no idea how much actually went on in the industry, how much value the work our company and our industry provides to our communities, and how many opportunities there are for innovation and different types of jobs. Mike talked through it: engineering and operations and sales, of course, and finance. But it's really every component of a business, and it's really pretty cool. From a sustainability perspective, again, it goes back to our roots. And I mentioned that it hasn't been until recent time that the general public has really put a focus and an emphasis on sustainability. And for us, we've been issuing a sustainability report for over a decade now, pushing out our perspective on how to evolve the sustainable model, how to innovate with our customers, how to help our customers meet zero waste goals. A lot of our customers are trying to create more innovation around the systems that they have, so they reduce, of course, cost is a component of it, but also reduce their environmental impact.
The big one for us, right, is greenhouse gas emissions and reducing our greenhouse gas. So how do you do that? More efficient trucks, routing, efficiencies there, other things like that. And I think greenhouse gas is a big one for everyone, and I think we've been measuring it since. I have to exactly look back on the exact report of when we started, but I know it was early in my career, and I've been here 14 years. So putting a number and a metric to it actually gives you a goal to then hit. And I think that's one of the big things that in our industry you really need to have those metrics to drive that mission, so that everyone's on the same sheet of music, that this is what we're trying to accomplish and here's how we get there.
I live in upstate New York, and I was walking my dog and I noticed that there was a Casella bin, and I had never really taken the time to look at the bins on my dog walking route. So it made me wonder, what is your reach nationally? Like, are most of your customers in the Vermont area, or just how many customers do you have throughout the states?
Yeah, so we talked earlier about the vision of John and Doug was to make the best waste management business there is, that has a different look at how we do waste management, right? From a renewable perspective and a recycling perspective. And the goal wasn't necessarily to grow as big as we are, but we are currently operating in 6 of the northeastern states. We have operations from northern Maine to northwestern Pennsylvania. We run about 150 or so locations. And in our space, we're called a vertically integrated business, in that we can collect waste, recycling, organic material from our customers. We can transfer that material to end disposition facilities. We have recycling facilities, we have organics facilities, and we have ultimate disposal facilities. So that's here in the Northeast. And then we actually serve customers in 46 states. I think the biggest positive is that our people have been recognized for probably the first time really ever as being essential. We talk about this a lot around public policy and different initiatives that go on that may or may not have a negative impact to the business from our perspective. And you think about when you go overseas to a different country, and if their solid waste infrastructure isn't strong, that's the first thing you notice is garbage on the streets and maybe some odors and different things. We take for granted in the US the fact that we don't have that problem, that trash isn't sitting on the streets, that we don't have those odor issues, to the extent that you find in other communities. And I think for the first time, our people have been recognized for the hard work that they do and that they are frontline essential employees to ensuring that the health and safety of our communities remains strong.